Welcome to Get the Balance Right, a podcast for creative entrepreneurs looking to grow their business in a healthy, sustainable way. I'm your host, Heather Zeitzwolf, CPA and business advisor. Each week, you will learn actionable steps to streamline your processes, increase your profits, and make a bigger impact as a purpose-driven leader. Join me in conversations with CEOs and renegades in digital media, marketing, advertising, and design. Want to ignite your passion for business? Then let's get started. Hello and welcome to another episode of Get the Balance Right podcast. I am your host, Heather Zeitzwolf. On this episode, we are joined by Sandy Forster, who went from welfare to becoming a millionaire by changing her mindset. Sounds crazy, right? Well, keep listening. Sandy's passion is to help women around the world to think bigger and feel empowered so that they can dream and manifest what they desire. Sandy is a money mindset mentor, an author of several books, and she teaches others to become inspired spirit coaches. She's even gotten Oprah's stamp of approval as the Aussie Secret. Do you remember the movie The Secret? Now you might be thinking, this sounds totally woo-woo. Like, give me a break. What are you talking about? Like a vision board with a cutout of Ferrari and one day you hope that it appears in your garage? No, Sandy teaches that changing your mindset is only part of it. You must also take action. You can still call it woo-woo, but there is something to be said about positive thinking. In fact, it's been scientifically proven. Research has found that positive thinking not only helps stress levels, but it plays a role in a person's overall health and well-being. When you have stressful, negative thoughts, your body will significantly reduce its production of killer cells, whose job it is to target and eliminate virus and tumor-infected cells. Therefore, negative energy is destructive to the immune system. And I'm sure that you've heard this before. What's the saying? Stress kills, right? In general, optimists live longer and are less likely to die from cardiovascular disease. If that's not a reason to be positive, I don't know what is. How about you guys? Do you have problems with negativity? Kind of putting yourself down, kind of being all glum and just negative all the way around. It is so easy to go down that path of negativity. It's actually harder to be positive. But once you start having a positive mind, it becomes easier. One of my favorite books is The PMA Effect by John Joseph. He is the singer from the hardcore band The Cro-Mags. He's a longtime vegan and competes in Ironman triathlons. PMA stands for Positive Mental Attitude. In the book, John Joseph describes his incredibly tough childhood and how becoming vegan and learning to harness the power of PMA, he totally changed his life. He overcame addiction, homelessness, and being incarcerated, all through the PMA effect. In the book, he breaks down the various areas of PMA. He emphasizes on the importance of action, same as Sandy. The book is full of tips, including my favorite, which is to write your goals on index cards and tack it to a corkboard as a daily reminder. The book is full of great quotes, but here are a few. Regarding negative thoughts, John Joseph said, "The more you practice awareness of your thought patterns and what you're doing, the faster you'll redirect your energy to something positive." See, so it takes a little time, but once you start doing it, the pace will pick up. Another subject in the book is the act of complaining. I know all too well about complaining. I don't know why. I love to complain. It's just so easy, and there's something about it that kind of is irresistible and it feels good. But really, in the end, complaining is just bad. It doesn't resolve anything. It doesn't help you with stress. If anything, it just drags you down and makes you feel horrible. John Joseph asks the question in his book, do you know why happy, successful people don't complain much? He answers, because they're too busy figuring out the ways to turn negative situations into positive ones. I highly recommend the book, The PMA Effect. Not only does it have easy to implement strategies, it also emphasizes the need for a plant-based diet, aka cruelty-free diet, that is healthier and free of negativity that comes with slaughtering animals for food. It's amazing when you stop eating animals, you stop digesting murder and cruelty, and it does change yourself. I think I complain less now that I'm vegan. I am a happy person, and outwardly, I am positive and optimistic. However, internally, I do struggle allowing these negative thoughts to creep in about myself. For some reason, I can be far more positive about other people, but for me, there's limiting thoughts, self-doubt, all that kind of junk. What about you? Do you have limiting thoughts that hold you back from your full potential? A lot of this is just being scared, right? Perhaps changing your mindset to make millions of dollars isn't your goal, but living a healthy life is a great aspiration for us all. To help us change our mindset, we can start right now. Through positive thinking exercises, we can feel more optimistic today. Are you ready? Okay, here are a few. 1, believe you will succeed. To feel more positive, start believing in yourself. Stop letting fear control you from taking action. Believe you will succeed. To feel more positive, start believing in yourself. Stop letting fear control you from taking action. That's my cat complaining. Number 2, practice positive affirmations. Repeat these every day to make yourself feel better. For instance, if you're suffering from low self-esteem, say something positive to yourself. Like look at yourself in the mirror and smile and say something positive. Number 3, make peace with the past. Let go of the hurt and pain and focus on the present. Be in the moment. Number 4, express gratitude. Maybe you have one of those journals where it has a line where you're supposed to express your gratitude for the day. So expressing gratitude, find things every day to be happy and thankful for. Reflect on the positive rather than dwell in the negative. Number 5, use positive words when you're talking. Refraining from using negative words helps your brain focus on positivity. It's just a hack. It's like that thing where if you smile or laugh, it makes you feel better. Being more positive does the same thing. If you try any of these exercises, I would love to know. Please send me a DM or take a picture of yourself and send it to me, tag me. I would love to know how you're changing your journey every day by being more positive. All right. Are you ready to have your mind blown? Whether you want to make millions or not, this interview is filled with great inspiration. Sandy has built a fantastical life going from being broke to having kangaroos in her backyard. She does live in Australia, so that does help. Here is my insightful and fun conversation with Sandy Forster. Hello and welcome to Get the Balance Right. I am with Sandy Forster. She is down in Australia. Welcome, welcome. So Sandy, you are a coach, you're a writer, you have kangaroos in your backyard. What? For those who don't know about you, can you just tell a little bit about yourself?
Well, let me give you a very quick backstory so you can understand. When I was 16, my parents decided to move to the warmer state in Australia, which was up north, Queensland. So I moved here. I met a boy in high school. We went out for 10 years, got married. I had a 3-year-old and a 6-month-old, and we divorced. And suddenly what had been my hobby business, I was designing and manufacturing swim and gym wear. Suddenly that had to be my full income. And it never was. It was something I used to buy nice fabric and sew all winter in the garage and then go and find an empty store down by the beach in summer and sell my stuff. But suddenly it needed to be my actual income and it wasn't enough. And I ended up $100,000 in debt and on welfare. At the time, welfare was about $7,500 $100,000 US dollars a year, not enough to live on. So I was really struggling, and I went out and bought the books and went to the seminars, all the wealth building seminars, and learned all the practical strategies. I invested with the money I ended up after my divorce. I had about 150,000. I put some money into shares. The money disappeared. I put some money into a network marketing company. It disappeared. I put some money into an investment club. It disappeared. I put some money into real estate. I sold at a loss. Like every practical thing I did didn't work. My brain was going, oh my gosh. I just felt like I was going to be $100,000 in debt for the rest of my life. That was just, I had no idea how I could get out of it. I came across something amazing. I'd already known about positive thinking positively, but then I discovered the law of attraction, and that took positive thinking to a whole new level. I dived into that, boots and all, absolutely fell in love with everything to do with it, created dozens of different processes and exercises to keep my brain focused on what I really, truly wanted, as opposed to how things really were, and ended up going from welfare to millionaire. It's my absolute passion to really inspire other women, particularly women entrepreneurs, and inspire them, empower them, give them all the tips and strategies that I know worked for me. I figure if I can do it, anyone can do it. Yeah, that's my thing now. I love helping other women break through their money blocks, because I've made every mistake in the book. Nothing anyone says me about bad money situations shocks me. So break through their money blocks and just manifest more money, make it easier rather than going out there trying to chase it. That's me in a nutshell.
Wow. I'm a CPA and I'm also a money coach. So I help people with budgeting their monies. And a lot of it starts with mindset and changing your mindset about money. But I'm talking about things like stop buying coffee and maybe don't buy a car that you can't afford and those types of practical things. But are you talking more about like vision boarding and the secret, like putting these thoughts out into the universe? Can you explain where it is you're coming from?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm very much of the belief that when you combine practical strategies with the metaphysical strategies, that's where the magic happens. So I'm not just about the vision boards and the affirmations and the visualizations and all the different processes that I've created. That is a huge piece of it. And it's probably about 90% of it, because if you don't get your mindset right, then it doesn't matter what practical strategy you take, you're not going to get the success that you want. So definitely mindset's huge. But if anyone understands the backstory of The Secret, and one of the books that Rhonda Byrne read to learn more about the law of attraction was a book by a man called Wallace Wattles. And this book was written back in 1910, like ages and ages ago. And in that book, he says, by thought, the thing you desire is brought to you, but by action, you receive it. And that is the truth. You can be sitting around doing your vision boards and your affirmations and your visualizations all day long, but the money is not going to drop into your lap until you take action. And so I always teach my students, it's all about aligning body, mind, and spirit. The mind is how you think. It's getting your mindset right. The spirit is about how you feel. You've got to feel abundant to be able to attract abundance. But body is all about action, taking physical action to actually achieve what it is that you want, to have those dreams and desires come into play. And even if, this is the big thing, even if people don't really know what actions to take, when you start aligning body, mind, and spirit, what happens is you come up with an idea, or you suddenly get a thought to go somewhere, or you suddenly see a course that you decide to take, or you hear a podcast and hear a mentor that you might like. There's all these different amazing things that start to kind of line up, the universe brings to you. So it's not like the money magically drops in your lap, but these different circumstances and experiences and opportunities come into your kind of field of vision that you hadn't seen before.
Okay, so I can't just go out and buy a lottery ticket and hope for the best and meditate on that.
Let me just say, I just had a conversation yesterday with a friend. She's one of my students, and she had another friend in another state who was not feeling well, had a few health challenges. So she bought her a card, she bought her a little scratchy ticket, and she follows everything I do all the time. Like, she's so into it. So she bought her this scratchy ticket without any expectation or anything, sent it to her friend. Her friend rang her yesterday and said, I just won $100,000 on that ticket that you gave me. And my friend was like, oh, I'm so happy. But her friend said to her, but I would never have had that ticket if it wasn't for you. So I'm going to give you $50,000. I'm flying up next week to give you $50,000. So it's going to happen. If your mindset's in the right place, the thing is she took the action. Her mindset's in the right place because she's thinking abundant thoughts. She's feeling abundant because that's what I've taught her so much. She's always putting herself in that place. But then she took the action. She went and bought a ticket. When you align it all, magic can happen.
Wow, that is an incredible story. Oh, wow. Hey there, this is Heather. I hope you're enjoying the podcast. And if you are, if you wouldn't mind, please hit the subscribe button now. That way you'll never miss an episode. All right, now back to the podcast. You said from welfare to millionaire. You tried different types of things like real estate, investing, and all of that. What was that jump that you went from welfare now to millionaire? You changed your mindset, but did it change what you were investing in? How did you make that leap?
Great questions. For me, the very first thing that took me in a different direction, because as I said, had my swim and gym wear business, making swim and gym wear on the side, really not making any money, getting further and further in debt with that. And I realized I needed something different. And I remember going to a seminar. The subject of the seminar wasn't what I ended up discovering, because in the break they said, if anyone wants to know more about coaching, come out and find out. We're going to do a breakout session. And I didn't even know what coaching was, but I went out, found out about it. They didn't want any coaches in Australia. But when I got back to Australia, I was on the lookout. Suddenly my reticular activating system, the thing that filters in and out what's really important to you, was on the lookout for coaching. And I found a coaching company. I trained through them. I started coaching people one-on-one, but very quickly realized that I preferred groups because I don't have a good enough memory. My brain's all over the place. So I couldn't do one-on-one because I kept forgetting the time I was supposed to be talking to them or what we'd talked about before. Group coaching became the thing, and I started to bring in all the law of attraction processes and exercises that I had created over the years. And my students were just getting the most amazing results. So I went from coaching to group coaching. I then partnered up with my accountant, and she was a financial advisor, accountant. She did a whole lot of practical things around money. And I brought the mindset side in, and we launched a program called Wildly Wealthier Women. And that made something like $2 million in less than a year. Then I wrote a book, How to Be Wealthy Fast. That brought a lot of new people to me. I came up with an idea to contact Rhonda Byrne in The Secret, because I couldn't buy The Secret in Australia because they had some sort of agreement that it wouldn't be sold in Australia till it aired on TV. So I was like, I just know this movie has got something to do with what I do. It never once said it was the law of attraction. It was just talked about a secret in this little 3-minute trailer. And I was desperate to find out. I shot an email over to The Secret and said, I love what you're doing. I know it's going to change the planet. I don't really know what it is because I still haven't watched it, but I want to send you a present. And I got an email back from Rhonda Byrne, who said, we get so many emails, but none ever come to me. Yours came to me. And yes, I would love a present. So I sent her my book. Emails me back and says, did you watch The Secret and then write this book? I said, no, I've been teaching this for years. And she said, it's amazing. Anyway, it turned out they filmed me for a whole day to be in The Secret because they were taking someone out. They didn't end up using me because my energy is high and the whole secret's been put together and very flowing. And so they used the 2 women in there that had that more softer flowing energy. But I said to her, look, we need to get The Secret into Australia. She said, we're not allowed to sell it to Australia. I said, can someone else sell it to Australia? She said, yeah, but we cannot sell directly to any Australians. And I said, if a US company buys it, can they sell it to Australia? Sure. I said, I've got a US company. And so I ended up bringing The Secret into Australia. That made me close to $3 million in less than a year as well. And that's just because I sent an email. I wasn't sending the email to try and create this thing where I could make money. I come up with ideas. I call it inspired action. Inspired ideas. When you get an inspired idea, take action. And the idea was just to send an email. I took that practical action, and then it led to making millions of dollars. And did I know anything about importing or bringing a product into the country and shipping and taxes and blah, 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 all that practical stuff? Not a clue. But I said, I'll do it. And sometimes you've just got to take action. You've got to just follow your gut and do what you can do to create the success that you want, even if you don't know what the end result is going to be. So I've been very lucky that I started as a coach, learned a lot about internet marketing, and then went on to use that in my online business, which has been created at wildlywealthy.com, and then has gone on to just come up with different ideas that make me money. And I still say to everyone, I don't consider myself to be a business person. I'm just a creative person who happens is and follow them through. Sometimes they're great. Sometimes they're really great. Sometimes they're crap. But I take action, and that's the key. I take action, I persist, and I make stuff happen.
Do you believe in self-sabotage? Because I find for me, I love to dream about something, some kind of plan or whatever, but then there's that side of me. It's like this, I call it the realist. Oh, that could never happen. And this and that, negative, 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 and all this self-doubt. Do you think that is what holds people back?
Oh, totally. And even when you create success, sometimes you self-sabotage. Comes to the actual initial manifesting. I think I'm really lucky because this isn't to say anything about any type of mental illness. I'm not trying to disparage anyone, but I do something that my daughter and I have termed delusional manifesting, because I think about something and I sometimes get myself into the feeling place of it. And if I talk to my daughter, she says, has that actually happened, or you're wanting it to happen? Because I really put myself in that place of believing that it's possible. I think I'm really lucky in that I am very creative, and I am not at all logical or practical, or that's just so not me, that I don't let those thoughts come in that it's not possible. I just take action. And that's why some things have worked great, but that's also why some things have worked terribly, because I don't think it through. But that has served me well, because if I'd thought through, for instance, when I launched Wildly Wealthy Women, if I'd thought that through and thought, how on earth are we going to get women from all over, because at that time it was Australia, all over Australia, and how are we going to connect them every week? And how are we going to, I've never run an event before. How am I going to do that? And how am I going to handle all this? And how do you create an online platform and a membership area? If I'd thought all that through, I wouldn't have even got started. But I just thought up the name and said to her, I think this is a great idea. And she said, okay, you run with it. And I did. And it just took off. I think the fact that I'm not logical and I'm not practical and I don't think things through has actually served me in some ways greatly, in some ways very badly, but evening it out, it served me really well.
I really definitely need to change my mindset, because I'll never be a millionaire based on the way I think. So the topic that we were talking about for today is transform your mindset and manifest millions. Do you think part of that is meditating on that, or is it just that easy that you're just putting out these ideas and just not being a negative Nancy about the whole thing?
I think it's a combination. For me, what I like to do and what I teach all of my students is it's got to be consistent. It's like someone who says, I want to lose weight, and then they do a little bit of exercise here and there, and they eat good now and again, but they're just not going to get the results. But if they say, you know what, this is it, I'm committed, I'm totally going to focus on what I want, I'm going to eat really well, I'm going to exercise every day, and they're just consistent. Every single day they do the right thing. And yep, they fall off the bandwagon now and again and have a chocolate muffin or a packet of chocolate biscuits, or you can tell that's my thing. And everything goes haywire. But as long as you get back on track, and I think that's very much the same when it comes to manifesting. You've got to do all the metaphysical processes that I love so much. And the thing about the law of attraction, I think when I first learnt about it, was that part of me didn't actually believe that it would work. There was part that just thought that I can't understand how this is going to work. This seems a bit woo-woo out there, a bit hippie-like. I'm not sure that it's really going to work. But there was part of me that thought, this makes me feel better than what my life actually is. Focusing on my dreams and goals, focusing on being a millionaire, thinking about that, feeling what it was like, imagining my life as that, it just made me feel so much better than being $100,000 in debt and on welfare. So I just dived into it simply because it just made me feel better. And the bonus was, because I dived into it so much, because I did something every single day, because I continued to focus on what I wanted and tried to just not think about how my life was, or the debt I was in, or look at the red letters that came in, because I tried to get all that negative stuff out and just focus on what I wanted and took action every day, the universe rewarded me. And I think that's the key. It's universal law. It's not like the universe says it's going to work for Heather, it's going to work for Sandy, but you over there listening, that ain't going to work for you. It works for everyone. And the good thing is right now we live in a time when science is catching up, or science is now revealing things, is being able to see things through all these different methods, that your thoughts are energy, and energy attracts like energy. And through quantum physics and through neuroscience, they're understanding that we can rewire the brain to attract and create what we want in our world. So we really do have more power than we've ever had before.
Yeah, I've heard that every thought that you have is almost like another universe. Like it sends something out there into the ether. I don't know the science behind it, but I do know positive thinking is definitely the way to go, and I need to curb my negativeness. You have a couple of books. One is Think Like a Millionaire, so you can become a millionaire. And another one is the one that you mentioned, The Wildly Wealthy Fast. And then you have a subliminal audio training. You've got your coaching program. Tell us all about, you've got so many things going on.
Yeah, I guess it all started with my book, How to Be Wildly Wealthy Fast. What happened was, I'm the sort of person, when I learn stuff, I love to share. Like, I just love to share. And so I would try and share it with my children, and my daughter would roll her eyes and think I was insane. So I was like, okay, I can't share with my kids. So then I decided I would get my best friend over and sit her down on my lounge and start to share the things that I knew. And I found that when I was sharing what I was learning and what I was applying, that she would ask me a question that I hadn't learned, but the answer would come to me and I would think, oh my gosh, I'm so clever. Like, where did that come from? And so I realized that this was something I needed to do. I needed to share, because the more I shared, the more I downloaded, the more I really understood it and really applied it. So I started to teach a teleseminar that was a 4-week teleseminar. This is before Zoom, before video, before slides. It was just purely over the phone. So I would teach this 4-week teleseminar on all the things that I knew about manifesting, all the little tips and strategies that I was using. Then I would add some more stories and some more things, and it went out to 6 weeks, and then 8 weeks, and 10 weeks, and 12 weeks. By 12 weeks, I'm thinking, well, this is insane. It's taking too much time. I got to charge too much. I want to reach more people. So I decided to take all the notes from that and turn it into a book. So that's been the basis of my whole business. And from there, I decided that, okay, I could write another book, but it would be better and more beneficial, and people get more out of it if I created a program that was based around the book, that dived a little bit deeper, gave people that, support every month live with me. That's what my Millionaire Mindset experience is all about. So it just, really helps people to break through their blocks. And then one of the things I found as part of what I was doing was people were always saying to me, Sandy, I want your life. I want to be able to work whenever I want. I want to be able to work from home. I want to be able to make as much as I want. I want to work in the personal development industry. I want to do what you're doing. And so in 2008, I actually launched the Inspired Spirit Coaching Academy. And so I've trained about 1,500 people from all around the world now to be internationally certified law of attraction coaches. And that's one of the things I totally love. Not only do they learn all the mindset and the money manifesting and how to be a coach and how to build a business, but they're then going out into the world and coaching other people and transforming their lives and really creating that ripple effect in the world and really making huge change. Everything I do, I'm just so passionate about, and I love doing, because I know that what I do actually changes other people's lives. That's my business. Seriously, it doesn't get any better than that.
Sandy, this is so fascinating.
One thing I really love telling listeners is to understand that for me, I think sometimes people see what I've done and think, oh, she's special. And we're all special. But I'm no specialer than anyone else. Like, I dropped out of high school in grade 11, didn't even finish high school. I had no contacts, nobody that could help me when it came to making money or being an entrepreneur. I had no great skills. I had nothing. You would think that looking at me, that's it. That was my life, being $100,000 in debt. So I figure with that kind of background, if I've been able to completely transform my situation, then anyone can too. It's just a matter of finding a mentor, someone who you resonate with, who you want to learn from, because if you're going to walk through a minefield, walking behind someone who knows what they're doing is the best way to do it. It's the way not to get hurt. And so find yourself a mentor, follow their lead, not only learn from them, but take action, apply everything you learn and be persistent. And if you do that, success and prosperity will come.
Wow. That is so awesome. Yeah, I'm just speechless. Sandy, I am like taking everything that you're saying to heart. This is awesome. Okay, before we go, I do have to ask you about the kangaroos in your backyard. What is that about?
So I live on 2 acres. I'm only about 6 minutes from my favorite beach. So I walk there every morning with my dog. I love it. I have 2 acres that actually backs onto bushland, and over the back of my neighbours is more bushland. So they travel through my place to get there. But my grass is so green and lush that I have all the kangaroos come, and they're joeys and they're big daddy kangaroos. So I've had up to 17 kangaroos feeding in my backyard in my 2 acres, because they've also got a spring-fed dam so they can have a drink and eat the grass, and they hop on through, and yeah, it's really cool. And just so everyone who's listening understands, this is not normal. I know people think that kangaroos hop down the main road in Australia, but no, seeing kangaroos is not a normal thing. It's really special. But they hop in my backyard, so every day I come and see the kangaroos and their little babies, their little joeys, and yeah, it's really cool. I feel very lucky.
Wow. Yeah, in America, we just have deer.
Yeah, I think it's the same sort of thing, yeah. But I think deers are gorgeous.
They are gorgeous. But I was just thinking, wow, it would be amazing to see a kangaroo. Wow.
Yeah.
Sandy, thank you so much. And we'll have links to everything in the show notes. But if people want to get a hold of you, where's the best place for them to find you on the internet?
The easiest place is probably just go to wildlywealthy.com. And if your listeners want, I've got a free guided visualization and some affirmations, a little sort of money manifesting bundle. If they go to wildlywealthyfree.com, they can get that, start rewiring their mind for abundance.
Thank you so much, Sandy. This has been incredible.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me, Heather.
Hey, this is Heather. Thanks so much for listening to the podcast. If you found value in the show, I'd really appreciate it if you gave me a rating on iTunes, or just simply tell a friend about it. And if you're interested in learning more about my profit advising and coaching, please set up a discovery call by using the link in the show notes. All right. Thanks so much, and see you next time.